So we're gonna start by just going ahead, and if you've got a sock on, take your sock off of your left foot. And then you're gonna spread wide through your right hand and weave your right fingers through the webbing of your left toes. The left hand can then come to the arch of your right foot. And you can either just start to stroke your thumb up the ball or up the sole of the foot towards the ball of the foot, or you can start to sort of wring the feet out, meaning your right hand goes one way and your left hand goes the other, and you're just noticing what that does at the ball of the foot as you just start to massage into the feet or into your left foot. And once you feel like you've gotten enough of that done, you'll go ahead and release the left hand, squeeze your left toes around your right hand and create 3 to 5 circles one direction. You're really squeezing your toes around your fingers. And after you've gone 3 to 5 circles one way, you'll go ahead and go the other way. And you're really squeezing your toes around your fingers as you articulate at the ankles, making a nice little circle. And once you've gone 3 to 5 that way, you'll go ahead and release the foot. Draw your right thumb to your right heel, and you're just going to massage the right heel. And it's almost like you're trying to peel your right heel away from your left heel away from your left ankle. And then you'll jiggle it up and down, creating a little bit of space. Awesome sauce. And then once you're done with that, just go ahead and release the left foot next to the right. If you've got your socks on, you might need to take that off and just see if you notice a difference between the sides of the feet, or rather different feet. And then you'll go ahead and switch sides. So bend the right knee, spread wide through the left hand, interweave your fingers through your toes, squeeze your toes around your hand. So let's step back. Bring the right thumb to the sole of your right foot and just massage it up and down first. And then you might find that you want to wring out the ball of the foot, sort of twisting your right hand one way and the left hand the other. And then once you're done with that, release the right hand, squeeze the right toes around the left hand, and then 3 to 5 circles one way, really squeezing the toes around the hand and noticing this ankle likes to behave the same way as the other. Once you've gone 3 to 5 one way, you'll go ahead and switch directions. So I guess the thing that I am most grateful for this week has been really like having the opportunity to say no to things. Sounds really funny, but just having that sense of spaciousness in my day and in my schedule feels really nice to me. And go ahead and release your left hand. Bring your left thumb to your right heel. And again, you just can massage along the inside edge of the heel and sort of pull the heel away from the rest of the shin bone, calf. And once you've done that a few times, jiggle your heel up and down. And then you'll go ahead and release that right foot next to left. See if the feet look the same. And you might take a few little ankle circles here. The next thing we're going to do is a navicular stretch. So we want to make sure that we've got our 2 blocks and our blanket. And you'll start to make your way onto your hands and your knees. And so this week, I'd like us to really start to focus on the things that calm our mind. So we're just establishing a bit of foundation in our feet first, because we're going to do quite a few standing poses, but then we'll move on. So go ahead and separate your feet about hip distance apart. Hands are underneath your shoulders. And then you'll take your right foot over to your left foot, lift your left foot up. Bring the top of your left foot into the arch of your right foot, and your blocks are there if you need or want them. But you're just going to push the left foot into the arch of the right foot and drag it out towards the left. And then you'll go ahead and switch sides, hands and knees. Take the left foot to the right, lift the right foot up. Right foot comes into the arch of the left foot, and then you all know how to play with where you move that right foot into the arch of the left. Awesome stuff. Go ahead and come forward, and we'll do that one more time. So right foot to the left foot on top. And then you'll notice that this time you can actually saw just a little bit right, or rather front to back with that left foot. It's very minuscule, almost maybe a millimeter, not really big, but you're just sawing with that left foot, and it gives you a different sensation. Then go ahead and come forward and you'll switch sides. Left foot to the right, right foot to the inner edge of the arch. And then you might just stay still, or you might go a little forward and back, creating a micro sawing action with that right foot. Awesome sauce. Okay, well, let's go ahead and come forward, hands and knees. And then you'll walk your knees, ankles, and shins together. Start to press your pelvis back towards your heels, and then sit yourself up for toe squat. And for this first toe squat, you can just do whatever the heck feels good to you for the upper body and the arms. But I'd like you to just notice and breathe, paying attention to what's happening at the soles of the feet. Now, we spent quite a bit of time just giving a bit more awareness to it. So notice if you feel more sensation, perhaps on the medial side, the inside, or the lateral side, the outside of your foot. If it's more across the balls of your feet, up towards the heel, just really paying attention to that. And then you'll go ahead and come forward, hands and knees, tops of the feet to the floor, pitter patter your toes, having a happy little temper tantrum if you'd like. And then conversely, when you're ready, you might shift your weight back and lift one or both knees up and away from the floor, depending upon how this feels in your knees, shins, and ankles. And once you're done with that, we'll take toe squat round 2. And so for this one, make sure both sets of toes are tucked under. Sit as tall as you can. And let's go ahead and interlace our hands at our low back. Draw your shoulders up towards your ears. Bend your elbows slightly and hug the elbows towards each other. And then see if you can scrub your tailbone down as you draw your front ribs in and back. And let the heart radiate forward and up. Let the ears reach up like little elfin ears. And see if you can take 2 more breath cycles as you continue to hug the bent elbows towards each other on the back. Continue to soften any tension around your neck and just observe and notice what you notice. Awesome sauce. Go ahead and gently release the hands. Come forward, release the toes. Pitter patter the toes onto the floor, having a happy little temper tantrum if you'd like. And again, counter stretch if you'd like. And then last little thing before we stabilize. You're good. I'm going to follow you guys. Go ahead and come forward to hands and knees. Send your right toes back, tuck the toes under, straighten the right leg as long as you can. Push down through both hands. And then see if you can float that right leg up parallel to the sky. Now continue to shift the weight into the right hand, push down to the left shin and reach your left hand forward. Palm faces in, inner right thigh lifts up, right toes point down. And you've just got 3 breath cycles here, reaching out through the right heel, reaching forward through the left pinky finger and noticing the breath. And at the end of your next exhalation, lower your left hand. Lower the right toes, keep the right toes tucked under, and just simply pulse a little forward and back here to say hello to your little calves. Noticing what that feels like, noticing how that may have impacted the breath or changed the breath in any type of way. Okay, and then you'll gently release the right knee down, extend your left toes back behind you, tuck the toes under, straighten that left leg as long as you can. Now push down into the hands to float the left leg up, squeezing the bum just a bit. Push down into the left hand and the right shin and float your right arm up. Now continue to reach forward through the right pinky finger. Continue to lengthen back through the tailbone and back through the left heel. And see if you can draw the front ribs in just a bit as you breathe and as you balance. Nice work. On your next exhalation, right hand comes back to the floor. Lower the left toes to the floor and you'll just pulse a little forward and back here, observing how that feels in the left calf. And again, starting to observe what's happening in your breath. So for the remainder of our practice, we're going to really focus on our breath. I've been on this little kick lately because it seems that the quickest way to impact or alter our nervous system as well as our mind is to really work with the breath. So that's what we're going to do going forward. When you're ready, simply release that left knee next to the right, and you'll make your way up to stand. So From here, you can just move that blanket off your space and bring your blocks to the upper outer corners of your space. And then once you've got all that done, just go ahead and stand at the top of your space in Tadasana, feet about hip distance apart. Make sure the inner and outer edges, or more specifically, the inner edges of your feet are parallel towards one another. Make sure your thigh bones are directly over your shins are over your ankles, and both of those are underneath your hips. And then see if you can just drop the tail, stack the shoulders over your hips, and then align your ears over your shoulders. And you'll just take 2 breath cycles here. You can soften or close the eyes if you'd like, and just take an internal check of what you notice and what you feel in the body. We'll come back to this at a periodic point just to check in to see how you feel. All right, let's go ahead and add on. Inhale, start to reach your arms forward and up and overhead. And then exhale, tone the belly and lower the hands back down alongside the hips. So we'll do about 5 to 6 more of these. So you'll inhale, reach the arms forward and up, lifting into the collarbones. And then exhale, lower the hands and draw the abdomen back in. For these next 4, you can stay on your flat, or as you inhale, you can press to the balls of your feet. And again, we're breathing into the chest as we inhale. And then exhale, lowering the heels as you tone the navel into the spine. And as you take these next 3, notice how long it takes you to inhale and come up to your perhaps releve Urdhva Hastasana, and how long it takes you to exhale and lower back down to Tadasana. And you've got 2 more sets. Slow breath in, slowly rising to the balls of your feet. And slow breath out, slowly lowering all the way back down. Nice work, guys. Last one. Inhale, coming up. And exhaling, slowly lowering down. Awesome. From here, go ahead and step your left foot back. And I encourage you to keep one of your blocks probably to the inner edge of your right foot, probably on the highest setting, depending upon how open your happy hammies are. We haven't done much in the hamstrings yet to open them, so this is going to be intense. Heads up. Bring your right hand to your low back, and we're just going to stay here for a moment. I want you to inhale and breathe into your chest and into your collarbones. As you exhale, pull the belly into your spine, push your spine into your back hand. We'll do that one more time. So inhale, breathe into collarbones. And then exhale, slight bend to the front knee, draw the abdomen in, draw the back into the right hand. So we'll keep that action happening in the belly as we do these next few things. Inhale, go ahead and reach your arm up alongside your ears. And as you exhale, start to hinge at your hip. Keep a bend in the front knee and reach forward through that left hand, maybe lowering it to the block or to the floor inside of your right foot. Next in-breath, reach out through the left hand. Keep a bend in the front knee and come all the way back up to stand. Awesome sauce. We're going to do 4 more of those. Now, as you exhale, see if you can make the 6 counts coming into your forward fold all the way down. And then when you need to inhale, you'll come up for 3 counts, coming all the way back up to vertical. And you've got 3 more sets. So exhale for 6 counts. Belly pushes into spine, spine pushes into right hand. Reach out through your left fingers, lowering them down to the floor. And then inhale, reaching out through the left hand to come all the way back up in 3 counts. Nice job. You got 2 more sets. Exhale, belly to spine, slight bend in front knee, hinging at your hips, coming all the way down. And then inhaling for 3 counts, keeping the neck long, coming all the way up. And last time, exhale, belly to spine, hinge at hips, reach forward through the left hand, coming all the way down. And then inhaling, reaching out, coming up for 3 counts to stand. As you exhale, lower your left hand, step your left foot forward, lower your right hand, and just pause and notice what you notice in the body. We did just one side, but see if you notice anything different. And then we'll go ahead and switch sides. So step your right foot long and back. Bring your left hand to your low back. And you're just gonna pause here for the first 2 breaths. So you inhale and you breathe into your collarbones. As you exhale, low belly comes in, back pushes into hand. Inhale, breathe into collarbones. Exhale, slight bend in the front knee. Belly comes into spine, spine goes into left hand. Awesome sauce. Let's keep that. Inhale, reach up through your right arm. And then exhale, start to hinge at your hips. Maybe you go directly into that 6 count exhalation all the way down to the block or the floor. And then you inhale and come up for 3, all the way back up to stand. And you've got 4 more sets. And as you continue to work, I encourage you to keep inviting the belly button in. Not only does it support the low back, but it accesses that nerve plexus that exists in our abdomen. And then from an esoteric perspective, what we're tapping into is called Rudrani, the aspect of Shiva, the ideal yogi meditator that lives in the belly. And then from a neurological perspective, what we're trying to do is get us to lengthen out the exhalation so that we can start to turn on our parasympathetic nervous system. So it's a big one. Win, win, win all around. Okay, and I think you've got about 1 more set. And you're just working at your 6 count exhalation all the way down. Your pace might be slower or faster than mine, and that's okay. And you're working at your 3 count inhalation, finding as much length through your spine. After you've done your 5 sets, you'll go ahead and step to the top of your space, lower the right hand, lower the left, and just take a moment to pause and notice. Does the energy feel like it's now more in your legs, below the shoulders, versus in your head, above the shoulders? Awesome sauce. Okay, go ahead and turn to face the side of your mat. Separate your feet about, 3 feet-ish apart. Okay, and then inhale, open your arms out to the right and to the left, parallel to the floor. As you exhale, take a little side bend towards the right. Right hand trails down the right leg, left arm reaches up and overhead. As you inhale, come back up to vertical, arms parallel to the floor. Exhale, hands to hips, hinge at your hips, slide all the way down, sliding your hands down to the outer edges of your ankles. And then inhale, come back up, flat back, reach the arms parallel to the floor when you're completely to vertical. And then exhale over to the left. So left hand trails down, right arm reaches up and overhead. And as you exhale, as you inhale, you'll come back through center. Exhale, hands back to your hips, hinge at your hips and fold all the way in. So that's the sequence that we're going to take. And you'll inhale and come all the way back up to vertical, arms parallel to the floor. But we'll start to lengthen the breath. So exhale to the right for about 8 counts, noticing that you pull the navel into the spine in order to create length on the left side body. And then when you need to, you'll inhale up to vertical for 4 counts, arms parallel to the floor. Exhale, hands to hips, folding in 8 counts, hinging at the hips, keeping the spine super long, knees as bent as they need to be. Inhale, come back up, 4 counts, arms parallel to the floor. Awesome sauce. Exhale over to the left, 8 counts, navel draws in, reach out through the right fingers. And then you'll inhale and come back up for 4 counts. Great, you got 3 more sets on your own. Exhaling, hinging at the hips, folding all the way in, tucking your chin to your chest just slightly. Inhale, lengthening out through the ears, sternum reaches to chin, chin reaches to sternum, come all the way up. And exhale over to your right. And so you'll complete these next 3 cycles on your own, and you're just following your breath. What this requires of us is that in order to work this deliberately with our breath, we kind of have to allow the mind to steady itself entirely on the breath. One of the funny things about this type of practice is you can't really multitask. Can't think of what I'm going to buy at the grocery store or what tasks I need to get done at work today. If I really want to elongate the breath so it's twice as long as my inhalation, I have to pay attention to how long the inhalation is so that I can double the exhalation. And if you're finding that hammies are kind of tight, go ahead and bend the knees as much as you need to, especially when you go into that forward fold. Nice job, guys. Notice the quality and the state of your breath and continue to work with that. Awesome sauce. I think we have about one more set. And you might notice that by elongating the breath and working the repetitions this way, you might have found that you can gradually have deepened not only the forward fold, but also those lateral side bends. And deeper is not always better, but it is very interesting how when we can relax just a bit, things start to expand on their own. Okay, so after your last forward fold, you'll just stand vertical. Lower the hands alongside your hips and take 4 steady breaths. And if you're already hanging out there, notice if you can relax any tension in the hands and just observe and notice what you notice. Do you feel a little bit more heavy or grounded in the body? Does your awareness feel more connected to the body versus up in the head? Awesome sauce. From here, start to walk, wiggle walk, or jump or hop your feet towards each other. Awesome sauce. And then turn to face the top of your mat. You can stay in the middle of your mat. Now, because of low back stuff, we're going to just modify this a bit and have one hand bent. So bend your right elbow and bring your right hand to your low back. And you can still face the top of your space. And then you'll inhale and lift your left arm up and overhead. As you exhale, bend the knees, start to hinge the hips and reach forward through the left fingers, drawing the left hand all the way down to the floor. Now inhale, reach out through the left fingers, come up halfway. And then you'll exhale and fold all the way in. At the end of your exhalation, just hold the breath out as long as it's comfortable. And then you'll inhale, reach through the left hand, come all the way back up to vertical. And exhale, lower the left hand alongside your hip. So we'll do that one more time on this side, seeing if we can go back to that 8-4 pattern. So inhale, reaching up for 4 counts. Exhale, hinge at the hips, 8 count exhalation. Neck stays long, knees as bent as they need to be, reaching out through your left fingers. Then inhale, reaching out through left fingers, halfway lift, spine is parallel-ish to the floor. And then exhale, fold all the way in. At the end of this exhalation, hold the breath out as long as is comfortable, maybe 1 or 2 beats. And then you'll inhale, reach out through the left hand, come all the way back up to vertical. And exhale, lower the left hand, lower the right hand, and just pause and notice what you notice in the body. Notice what you notice in the breath. Okay, we'll go ahead and try the other side. Bring your left hand to your low back. Continue to remember that the low back pushes into the spine pushes into your hand. And then inhale, reach up through your right hand, maybe a 4 count inhalation. Exhale, bend the knees, hinge at the hips, 8 count exhalation, all the way down to the floor, spine as long as it can be. Then inhale, reach out through the right fingers, lift the spine parallel-ish to the floor. And then exhale, long, slow, 8 count exhalation, all the way down. Hold the breath out, 1 or 2 counts, as long as it's comfortable. And then you'll inhale, reach out through the right fingers, come all the way back up to vertical, 4 count inhalation. And exhale, 8 count exhalation, lowering the right hand. I'll do that one more time. Inhale, 4 counts, reach the right arm forward to come up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bend the knees, 8 counts to go forward and down, slightly tucking chin to chest to keep back of neck super, super long. The end, you'll inhale, reach forward to come up, 4 counts, long, steady breath. And then an 8 count exhalation to fold back into Asana, forward fold the bottom, the breath out. 1 or 2 beats, whatever is comfortable for you. And then inhale, come back up to vertical. 4 count inhalation. And exhale, 8 counts, lowering that right hand. Now go ahead and lower both hands and just take a moment to check in and pause. We are going to add both arms if that's okay for your low back. Otherwise, just keep your hands on your hips. So inhale, reaching the arms out and up and overhead. 4 counts. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bend the knees, reach out through the fingers. Slow 8 count descent towards the floor. Then once you're there, you'll inhale, reach out through the fingers, come up halfway, 4 counts, chin tucks towards chest. And then exhale, slow 8 count exhalation, folding all the way into the bellies of your thighs. Hold the breath out, 1 to 2 counts, whatever is comfortable. And then when you need to, you'll inhale, reach out through the fingers, lift up to the back of the heart, come all the way up to stand. And a slow 8 count exhalation, opening the arms out, little wine screw, corkscrew, head lifting up, arms opening out. Pause and breathe, and just notice what you notice here. What is the quality and state of your being at this moment in time? Nice work. Very gently, make your way to hands and knees, and come to child's pose to just rest for a little bit. Depending upon how that worked in your body, you might have felt very dizzy with that, or you might have felt okay. And you'll just pause and breathe for 3 breath cycles. And if your hands are back behind you, gently release the hands to the floor, and then somehow make them towards the top of your space. Okay. On your next in-breath, let's go ahead and inhale, come forward to hands and knees. And then exhale, press back to that modified child's pose. We'll just take 3 more sets of these. So slow inhalation coming forward, hands and knees. Maybe it's a 4 count inhalation. And then perhaps an 8 count exhalation, belly to spine, pushing hips back to heels, sitting back into that child's pose. Yep, 2 more sets. Just working on your own. So from an energetic perspective, all these forward folds that we're doing, they also help internalize the mind. So if you're ever feeling scattered or that there's just a lot of stuff going on, doing simple chakra vakrasana, this little thing that you're doing right now, will help calm and stabilize the mind. Awesome sauce. The next time you're back in that modified child's pose, go ahead and pause there. Now, as weird as this is going to sound, I want you to reach out through your fingers and inhale, come up to stand, standing on your shins. So come all the way up to stand on your shins, reaching out through the fingers. Oh, buddy. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to add in that movement. So you'll inhale here and exhale 8 counts. Send your hips back, reach your fingers forward, lower all the way down to the floor. Once you lower down, hold the breath out, 1 to 2 counts, whatever is comfortable. And then you'll inhale, come forward to your hands and knees, position little baby cow shape. Exhale, 8 counts, pressing back to that modified child's pose, really trying to get your hips as far back over your heels as possible. And then you'll inhale, reach out through the arms, hinge to stand on to your shin bones. Oh, buddy, man, great. We got 4 more of those. Exhale, 8 counts. Low belly draws in, hips reach back, fingers reach forward. See, chest and fingers and thighs and all that stuff can touch at the same rate. Hold the breath out 1 to 2 counts. And then when you're ready, you'll inhale 4 counts forward, your little baby cow shape. And exhale 8 counts back to that modified child's pose, belly to spine, hips to heels. And then inhale, reach out through the fingers, lift up to stand on your shins. And exhale, low belly draws in, hinge at your hips. And so you'll do that about 2 more sets. During this first one, you hold the breath out for 1 to 2 counts, whatever is comfortable. And then you inhale and transition forward to hands and knees. And go ahead and press back. And so you're just working to observe what's working in your breath right now. Slow 8 count exhalation to come all the way down. Hold the breath out 1 to 2 counts. Then inhale, coming forward, hands and knees. And exhale, pressing back. Last set. Inhale, reaching out through the fingers, coming up to stand. Exhale, 8 counts, low belly draws in, coming back to that pranam position. Hold the breath out 1 to 2 counts. And then inhale, coming forward, hands and knees. This last time as you exhale and press back, you're just going to stay there for 3 breaths. And just observe and notice what you notice. Awesome sauce. Go ahead and walk your hands back to your knees. Draw your spine up to vertical. And then go ahead and flip around and lie down on your backs. And just lay flat for a moment. And just observe and notice. How does the body feel in this moment? Where does the breath feel like it's the most vibrant, the most alive? Great. If your knees are bent, go ahead and straighten your legs long. And then walk your feet over to your right side. Now we're going to keep both feet on the floor for today, but I want you to flex through both of your feet. Hug your outer shin bones in towards each other. Roll your inner thighs down to the floor. And then lengthen your tailbone underneath you so it's reaching down towards your heels. From here, just reach your left arm up and arc it over towards the right. And then bring your right hand up to rest on your abdomen. And you might inchworm your torso more to the right if you feel like you wish to do that. And for the next 6 to 7 breath cycles, I'd like you to inhale for 4 into your hand on the belly. And then exhale for 8 here. At the end of the exhalation, hold the breath out for 4 counts. And when you need to, you'll inhale for 4, filling the belly into the hand. And then exhale for 8 counts. Belly drops. Keep legs active. Keep reaching out through your left heel and your right or left hand. Pause at the bottom for 4 counts out. And you've got 4 more breath cycles like that. And what I'd encourage you to do is when you end your exhalation, you can start to rotate your abdomen a little bit to the left as you drop that left hip down and the left shoulder down. And you'll feel this internal churning happening in the abdomen. And again, it's just a gentle breath in for 4 counts, filling the belly with breath. And then a conscious, deliberate exhalation for 8 counts, emptying the belly for breath, but staying active through your left heel, active through your left hip, active through your left finger, elbow, shoulder region. And then that empty space, you can think of rotating the abdomen even more to the left. And as best as you can, we want to see if we can keep the breath just in the belly. So it turns out there are 3 different schools of thought in terms of where we want to focus our energy when it comes to meditation. One of them is on the abdomen, one of them is on the heart, and one of them is on the head. So today we're really focusing on meditating on the abdomen, seeing what that does. Okay, at the end of your next exhalation, you'll gently inhale and come back to your back and just pause there. Don't do anything and just observe if anything feels different from the right to the left. Just allowing yourself to be really, really still and just observe. Awesome sauce. Let's go ahead and try the other side. So walk your legs to the left. Actively flex through the feet. Hug your outer shin bones in and push your big toe mounds away from you even more. Yeah. Now roll the inner thighs down and curl your tailbone down to your feet. Reach your right arm over your head and arc it over to the left and draw the left hand onto the belly. And you've got about 6 slow breath cycles on this side. And it's the same thing, just breathing into the belly for 4, breathing out of the belly for 8, and then holding the breath out for 4. So one of the things that Jessica Charn, my teacher, says a lot is that pranayama, which is essentially what you're doing right here, is the hardest form of tapasaya. And tapas are the things that we do to purify and cleanse and heat so that we can burn away all the stuff that we don't need. And I think they say that because it's really hard to remain focused on something that seems so subtle. So as you continue to breathe here for these next 4 sets, I'd like you to remain aware that there are 2 things going on right now. One is your body is active in the shape. Your right heel is reaching away from your right hip. Your right outer hip is dropping to the floor. Your right shoulder is dropping to the floor as your right arm extends out from it. But then you're also working on the breath, working to really go to this 1-2-1 ratio. So meaning you're inhaling for a count of 4, you're exhaling twice that amount, 8, and then you're holding the breath out for 4. And so you're working with the body, you're working with the breath, but you're also working with the mind. Notice that perhaps in that pause after exhalation, you notice the mind can become more tranquil. You might also observe that because of working in this way, some old patterns start to kick up and you might find yourself becoming a little bit restless or anxious, and that's okay. We're seeing if we can suspend all thought at the end of that exhalation. Awesome sauce. After you've done 6 sets, you'll gently release and come back onto your backs. And you'll just pause. Notice what you notice. How is the body? How is the breath? And how is the mind? Go ahead and gently bend your knees and plant your feet firmly on the floor. From here, draw your knees into your chest and bring your right hand to the top of your right shin, your left hand to the top of your left shin. Your hands are going to stay glued to your shin bones, but you'll inhale, straighten your arms, draw your thighs away from your chest, and then exhale, hug the knees into the chest. And we'll do that about 4 more times, returning to that 4 count, 8 count repetition. So 4 counts to inhale and extend the arms, reach the feet away from you. And then exhale, hugging the knees into the chest, 8 counts. And you might notice that your neck feels a little wonky, so you might need to lift your head a little bit to lengthen the back of your neck as you're doing this. And then put the head back down if you have done that. You might also choose to just prop up your head with a blanket so that the cervical spine can soften and release and your chin isn't jutting up towards the sky. Yeah. Okay, last set. Once you've taken this last 8 count exhalation, just hold there for a moment. You can retain the breath or not, it's up to you. And then very gently, you'll release the legs and make your way to your final resting pose. So we're going to rest for a few minutes before we do our pranayama. And so maybe the legs are long, maybe you take Supta Baddha Konasana. And for today, you might want the arms off the body, or it might feel better for you to have one hand on the heart and one hand on the abdomen. So you choose whatever feels most nurturing for you. And then we'll draw the body into stillness as best as we can. And immediately, I encourage you to draw your mind towards sensation and allow sensation to fill the mind. So draw your mind towards sensation and allow that sensation to fill your mind. As you continue to rest here, allow yourself to release all effort. You'll notice if there's any unnecessary tension in the physical form, as well as if there's any unnecessary tension within the breath. And the breath in this moment is just whatever is natural, whatever is comfortable, whatever is easy for you. And you just continue to allow the mind to rest into sensation and sensation to fill your mind. Gently return your awareness. Notice the state of rest you are in presently. And very gently start to make your way over to your right side. Gently roll your chest more towards your bottom hand. Press into the top hand and draw yourself up to a tall seat. Now, I do encourage you to elevate your pelvis on a block, a blanket, a pillow, anything that will help with this pranayama because we're going to sit for about 10 minutes and breathe. So I want you to be as comfortable as possible. So if that means you need to put on coverings or any of those things, please do that. And then once you've got yourself established in your seat, go ahead and relax your hands on the tops of your thighs. And you can slide them back just so it feels like the humerus, the upper arm bone just hangs straight down. Feels like the heart lifts. And your shoulders are over your pelvis, your head is over your shoulders. And you'll just take the first bit of time here to just notice the natural breath. What do you observe in the breath? And retaining that sense of softness that you had while you were in Shavasana. We're going to work very deliberately with the breath now. So the next time that you inhale, breathe in for a count of 4. And when you need to, you'll exhale for a count of 8. And you'll just continue like that, breathing in for 4. And breathing out for 8. As you continue to breathe in for 4 and out for 8, you're breathing through both nostrils and simply observing the sensations as the breath passes in and as the breath passes out of the body. As you finish this next exhale, please transition to the count of in for 4, out for 8, pause for 4. So you'll continue to inhale for 4 counts. You'll exhale for 8 counts. At the end of the exhalation, you'll pause for 4. And as you continue to work with the breath in this manner, I encourage you to allow yourself to pause in the rhythm of suspending the mind as you suspend the breath. On your next inhalation, you'll begin to lengthen your inhale to a count of 5 and extend your exhale to a count of 10. And you continue to sit tall through the spine and just notice a sense of softness you can breathe into. And then finally, after this exhalation, you'll inhale for a count of 5. You'll exhale for a count of 10. And you'll pause with the breath out for a count of 5. As you continue to work with the breath in this manner, I encourage you to rest in that space between breaths, noticing that the mind starts to return to source as it relaxes in a state of thoughtlessness. When you complete this next round, just allow your breath to return to its natural, involuntary rhythm. To do that, you might notice that you need to take a few breaths before you can really allow the breath to return to its natural, involuntary state. Continue to sit tall through the spine, lifting the heart. And then just sit in effortless awareness. Gently bring your left hand to your heart. Stack your right hand on top of the left. Take 3 breaths, breathing into your hands. You'll gently start to lower your chin towards your chest. Softly start to flutter the eyes open and only let them open about 50% of the way. Slowly taking in the surroundings around you. And then gently you'll bring your head back up to vertical. And we'll complete by saying, the light within me honors and salutes the light within each of you. Namaste.